Hello everyone. Been a busy day here, so I'm just going to do a quick video. Didn't really get a chance to look at these charts much today, but we'll take a look at BIDU. Kind of look at before 11 o'clock. We got a couple of, this was a piercing line candle. This is actually a 3-minute chart. Put this back to 5-minute. So, back to the 5-minute chart. We had a hammer candle here. Right off the lows, this would have been support. Hammer candle, it came down and touched this support. This would have been a nice trade up to here. This line here is the reverse engineering RSI, which is a 50 period RSI average. This is VWAP. So we got to run pretty much up to this 50 RSI. So that would have been a nice, probably about a 10% trade there. And you got to remember we only have 4 days this week due to holidays, due to Friday. So let's look at still have this cough, just can't shake it. Right here we had a bearish engulfing candle on square. Came down. We had a hammer candle here that was at support. I thought this would pop because of support, even though we had a 100 and 200 right above it, but it didn't. So that hammer candle didn't hold up. Wasn't too much else going on at square after that. Tesla, I did make a trade today, a real money trade. Tesla, we had a bearish engulfing candle here. Would have been a good trade, but it's risky when you jump in after a big candle like that. Had a doji candle here, right off the lows. That was a 1040. Doji requires confirmation. I wouldn't have been too comfortable with this confirmation candle because the long wick, but it still would have worked out either way. Shopify, and I'm going through these quick because it's just don't have a lot of time to do this video today. But I have bearish engulfing here, which turned into a long tail, which led to this big green candle. This green means that the 6 EMA is above the 16 EMA. And you can use whatever values you like. I have mine set to 6 and 16. When it's red, it means the 6 is below the 16. So this is after 11 o'clock, so I wouldn't have been following that. Right here, this would have been a nice one. Right here, we had a bearish engulfing candle right off of this 16 EMA. Or actually, that's a 6 EMA. Right off the 6 EMA, this is you call this a cloud when this is going to be a support or resistance area. It's not the Ichimoku cloud, so don't get it confused with that. This is just the 6 and 16 EMAs that form this cloud forms from those two EMAs. But we come up to it and bearish engulfing candle. I would have entered on a break of this low, so you would have probably could have got 10% on that one. And I'll show you the trade I made earlier. Facebook, bullish engulfing right out of the gate, which didn't hold. And right here at 11:05, that's after my 11 o'clock deadline, but it did run from there. Here's a bearish engulfing candle, and this would have been a good one to trade. Bearish engulfing candle right off of these moving average lines, as well as this RSI, reverse engineer RSI. So we had a lot of resistance overhead. I probably would have entered this right about here. I probably would have had a target, initial target here, and final target down here, so it wouldn't have reached that final target. I probably would have got out after all out after this candle, because the bullish engulfing candle. But I would have been out of part of it here, so I probably would have made a few bucks on it. Netflix, and I'm working on a little bit different strategy right now, but I'll kind of show you what that was. And it's not anything new. It's something I worked on before. I traded with it before. I told you I took a paper trade account from 2,000 to 7,000 in just over 2 months, trading only SPY, and this is the strategy I'm using right now. Is one of the strategies that I used back then, and I just kind of got away from it, and it's almost like I tried to find that magic strategy that would cure everything, and got away from it, and now I'm starting to get back to it again, trying to go back to basics, back to what worked. This would have been a really nice trade. We came up, not quite a tweezer top, but it's real close. We had a bearish engulfing candle right off of the 100 SMA. We dropped down below this cloud. This probably would have been a good entry right about here, but my initial target would have been here. Or you could have waited and entered once we broke below this. So entered on this candle and rode it down to there, and that would have been a nice trade. My real trade today was BIDU, and I went in one contract, very light. Entered at $1.87 and sold it at $2.50, about a 35% gain. I'm also holding, I bought SPY calls at the end of the day that expire next week. Went in very late on that to see if I can make 10-20 bucks on it. But I traded BIDU. I entered at 9.45, and I'll show you why. And this goes back again to, and I was trading off the 3-minute candle, but we'll take a look at this candle at the 10-minute or 5-minute chart. I entered at 9.45, right at the opening of this candle right here. This, I entered it on the 3-minute chart, but we'll take a look at the 5-minute chart and see how it looks. Kind of had a little bit of consolidation here after a big drop, and then we came right over here to this 6 EMA, and take a look at the 3-minute. It'll kind of break it down a little bit better as to what I saw. So 9.45 was right at the beginning of this candle. You see we had this big drop, and then we kind of had a little bit of a consolidation right here, and let me go back to my drawings. So we kind of had a descending wedge here. I think I used the wrong drawing here. Why it didn't draw that. So we kind of had this descending wedge here. Change the color of that to something that'll show up a little better. Alright, so we had this descending wedge here, descending triangle, whatever you want to call it, bear flag, whatever you call it. We broke down below it right here, and that was why I entered. We broke below it, and we broke below this candle, so I jumped in and I wrote it down, sold it at 9.51, so I held it for 6 minutes. So I sold it right right at the opening of this candle here. If I had more than one contract, I would have held it longer, but I sold right at the beginning of this candle. Got 35%, so I'll take that. But this is kind of what I used to trade before when I was doing the paper trade, and I was doing really well with it. Kind of looking for these bear flags, and I would enter when we would come up and touch the EMAs. Same with this. This isn't necessarily a bear flag because it's more rounded, but I would enter when it came up and touch these EMAs when it was in a downtrend. When we were running in a downtrend, I would come up and I would enter. This one would have been probably the best entry. Would have been a break below this, so you would have entered towards the end of this, and you could have rode this down. And there's several different ways you can stop out or target out. One would be a close above this EMA. Didn't see that till over here, real close to it here, but over here you would have had this would have been a stop out if you would have traded it that way. Another one could have been here. You had a bullish engulfing candle. You could have said, okay, that's enough, I'm getting out there. I got out, like I said, I got out right here, only because I saw a little bit of a pop back up, and it was just I was up, let's face it, I was up 35%. I was happy with that, and I got out. If I had had more than one contract, I would have sold one and held one longer. I would have probably moved my stop to about here. I entered here. I probably would have moved my stop right to here to break even. And if I would have rode it, I would have still been in. Rode that last one. I think once I broke below this, I would have moved my stop to right here. And as we went down lower, I probably would have moved my stop to here. And maybe right about here now with this kind of like a triple top right here. Move my stop to there. And that's probably how I would have played that if I had more than one contract. But that's how I would have traded that. Let's take a look at SPY. Don't really see too many indications on SPY. 11:30 we had a bearish engulfing, but again we had kind of a right here kind of a bear flag again. Once it broke below this, there's a pivot point here, and there's also the low here. Once we broke below that, that would have been my entry, and I would have sold some at some point. I don't know if there's any support further back. We got support here at this level, so I definitely would have sold some at least at this point. And I'd have to go back further to see if there's anything further back, but that's how I would have traded that. That would have been a nice win too. This is a 5-minute chart. If the 3-minute looks any better, any better type of entry. Yeah, kind of the same thing here. We had a bear flag here on the 3-minute chart, so an entry would have been break below, probably below this pivot would have been my entry. So, and you can see bear flags, bull flags too, but I like the bear flags better. They'll move quicker, they're more reliable. A lot of times a bull flag will lose steam and drop back down. And the main reason for that is fear is a stronger emotion than greed. So people will stop out faster in a losing trade than they would sell into a winning trade. So when people start stopping out, it drops even faster. So it's almost kind of compounded. So you see we had a bearish engulfing candle here also, which would have made for a good entry. So that's about it for the charts for today. Like I said, I was going to make this a quick one. Bullish engulfing here right off the pivot. Your entry would have been up here. Wouldn't have really worked out. But on a day like today, I probably wouldn't have wanted to trade bullish anyway, just because of the sell-off that we had. But at some point it reverses like it did here. So, but that's it for today. I wasn't even gonna do one today because I didn't really look at any other charts, but I didn't want to not do one today. So, thanks for watching, and try to do another one tomorrow. I'm working on this new strategy, so I'm kind of focused on that and less on watching all these other charts. So, all right, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks. Bye.